Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is the morning edition of the Faith Factor Show coming at you with a topic that a lot of people don't like to touch upon. A lot of people don't want to admit this, but there is proof. There is proof. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Good morning. All right. Today's topic is going to be, hey, it looks like married women are not outliving their single counterparts. And this is a topic that I have talked about. I believe Black Woman Sphere has also touched on this topic. And there is data, studies, and scientific proof that this is, in fact, the case. Married women do not outlive their single counterparts. Single women actually do outlive married women. They're much happier and they have much more satisfaction than married women. But I think we kind of thought this in the back of our minds. In the back of our minds, we kind of knew this already, right? But now we have the study to prove it. We have the data to actually prove what we've been knowing already. Men drain women. Yes, they do. You guys are out here right now. Some man is draining the life out of his wife, and she's suffering. She's suffering in silence because she has the ring, but she can't say anything. She can't say anything. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. Now, before we get into the topic, I do want to say that, man, the price of things are really, really skyrocketing now. I went to go and buy some coffee. I bought my favorite coffee is this Folgers gourmet coffee. It's delicious, right? So I go in there and usually I only pay like maybe for a big can of my Folgers gourmet coffee. A big can of that would be like maybe $6.99. $6.99. The price of coffee has gone up 71%. It's insane. Same big canister of coffee I used to get for $6.99. I'm paying $14.99. Crazy. So inflation, guys, is on the rise. Inflation is definitely coming. So you guys better buckle up your seats, strap down, get ready for this long ride because it's going to be a cold winter. Winter is coming. It's coming in the form of inflation. Inflation, guys. But yeah, so I was looking at some studies, and the first article that reported on this was a New York Times post. And it's actually the New York Post was the first to report on this. And the article came out, I believe, back in 2019. Yes, May 28, 2019 is when it was updated. So this was a study on marriage. And it says, single ladies, the secret to happiness may never be putting a ring on it. So it goes on to say that women who are never married and don't have children, two things, never married and don't have children are the most content and outlive their married counterparts, according to Dr. Paul Dolan, who is a behavioral science professor at the London School of Economics. So Dolan is a best-selling author whose most recent work is a book called Happily Ever After, Escaping the Myths of a Perfect Life. And he analyzed data from the American Time Youth Survey, ADAS, He found that married people said that they were happier overall, but only when their partner was within earshot. So a lot of these people were lying about being happily married. Married people are happier than other subpopulation groups, but only when their spouse is in the room and when they're asked how happy they are. When the spouse is not present, they say that they're effing miserable. And I believe this. I've been around so many married people. And I mean, after it seems to be about maybe the third or fourth or even the fifth year, they're scrambling to get away from each other. It's funny, actually. It's very funny. But Dolan said at the Hay Festival in Wales on Sunday, according to The Guardian, we do have some good longitudinal data showing the same people over time, but I am going to do a massive disservice to that science and just say, if you're a man, you should probably get married because men benefit from marriage. There is a study, and this is a separate study, and it's off this topic, but there is a separate study that does say that men live longer. Married men who marry actually live longer than unmarried men. But if you're a woman, don't bother. Isn't that why do you think that is? Why do you think that married women don't outlive unmarried women? What do some of you think? Somebody type something down here in the chat. What do you think, and why do you think that is? Because I've always suspected this. I've always suspected that unmarried women are happier. Now, the women that go and they say that they're happily single, they're ostracized, they're told, you're lying, you can't possibly be happy being by yourself, you gotta have a man to be happy, or you're just trying to save face because nobody wanted you. But there are actually women out here who are thriving by themselves. They're happy, low blood pressure. They get to come and go as they're pleased. They don't have to answer to anybody. They don't have a plethora of chores to do. These women are thriving because the only people that they have to worry about or answer to is themselves. And I've been suspecting this for a long, long time. So married men take fewer risks, they calm down, and therefore they're healthier than their single counterparts, whereas women did not see the same benefits. Women's health was mainly unaffected by marriage, but middle-aged women reported more mental and physical problems than single ones. So about middle age is when it starts to hit you. You take less risks, you earn more money at work, and you live a little longer. She, on the other hand, has to put up with that, and she dies sooner than if she had never married. The healthiest and happiest population subgroup are women who never married or had children, says Dolan. But despite the fact that never getting married may be better for women overall, there are still stigmas, and we know this, associated with never tying the knot. So you see a single woman of 40 who has never had children, well, you'll see people saying, well, bless, that's a shame, isn't it? Maybe one day you'll meet the right guy and that'll change. No, maybe she'll meet the wrong guy and that'll change. Or maybe she'll meet a guy who makes her less happy and unhealthy and she dies sooner. So, there's nuances to this, right? There's lots of nuances to this. But now there's another article, and this article was from The Guardian. And I want to say this article is about, 2 years old. So it's about the same time. Women are happier without children or a spouse. And once again, there's a study. There's a study, and it comes right out saying we have suspected it already, but now the science backs it up. Unmarried and childless women are the happiest subgroup in the population, and they are more likely to live longer than their married and child rearing peers, according to a leading expert in happiness. Speaking at the Hay Festival on Saturday, Paul Dolan, a professor of behavioral science at the London School of Economics, said the latest evidence showed that the traditional markers used to measure success did not correlate with happiness, particularly marriage and raising children. Now, we do have some good longitudinal data following the same people over time, but I'm going to do a massive disservice. So this is basically the same article from Dolan. Same article. Yeah, so it's the same information. Same information. Basically, he's saying the same thing. Married women tend to die sooner than unmarried women. Now, I was looking at Gallup, and this is a January 2020, so this was last year, where they came out with this article by Megan Brennan, and the title says that women still handle the main household tasks in the United States. So could it be that marriage puts a huge strain on women because we're basically made out to be slaves in the household? Could that be it? Could it be that when men get married, they get to lay back and watch you do all the work, while the only thing they have to worry about doing is getting up, going to work? And when they come home to a clean house. They got you the babysitter, they got you the cook, they got you the maid, and they got you the dirty little slut at nighttime to fulfill all his sexual fantasies. So you're wearing all these different hats in the marriage. But what exactly do you get back in return? Just the satisfaction of saying, my husband? Flashing a ring? What do you get really in return for all this servitude? So in the story highlights, they said women are mainly responsible for doing all the laundry, cleaning, and cooking. That's 58 to 51% of women are saying this. Now, men, they take the lead in keeping the car in order and doing yard work. That's 69 to 59%. But how often do you have to do maintenance and repairs on your car? Is that an everyday thing? Nah. How often do you have to do yard work? Is that even an everyday thing? No. But the laundry, the cleaning, the cooking, these are things that are every day that women are expected to do. And most of the time don't get help. Don't get a lot of help. He may come in every now and then and help out, but you don't get a lot of help with that on a regular. So perceptions about who does certain household tasks differ sharply by gender. So although women comprise nearly half of the U.S. workforce, they still fulfill a larger share of the household responsibilities. So now, fast forward to the present times. Not only are you're still actually looked upon to fulfill a larger share of the household responsibilities, but now you also have to work in the household. So married or partnered heterosexual couples in the United States continue to divide household chores along largely traditional lines, with the woman in the relationship shouldering primary responsibility for doing the laundry, cleaning the house, and preparing the meals. And at the same time, men continue to take the lead in keeping the car in good condition and doing yard work. That's it. That's it. That's all. And when you add kids into the mix, women are primarily responsible for rearing the children. Primarily. When the child gets sick, the person that is expected to run that child to the hospital is primarily the woman. If the child doesn't have to go to the hospital, but he's at home sick, the person who's primarily responsible for getting up in the middle of the night, checking on the child, nursing the child back to health, that would be the woman. So here's a graph that pretty much shows a listing of all of the primary work that's supposed to be done in the household, and the percentage of which is done by men. And this should be no shock to anyone. No shock at all. All right, shout out to everybody that has come into the chat. We have Mary Baker, Food for Thought, the Athie Kingdom. Doug, what's up? Just piss. I don't know if that's just piss or what's up. What's up, Jim Slay in the house? All right, everybody's in the house. So I want to go ahead and do this. I want to share this list so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. This list is very substantial here. Let me go here. Household chores in the U.S. Oh, darn it, I got to. I always forget to do this. All right, share. All right, so here's this list, guys. And I want to go ahead and make sure that I'm blowing this list up so you guys can see it. So I'm going to take myself down so that you can actually see it bigger. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right, so let me go ahead and go back to my tab here. Hold on. All right, so as you can see at the top, it says roles of men and women in the U.S. households. Okay, and so the dark green line, and you see the dark green line is the longest line. These are chores where the woman is more likely. And then the lighter green line in the middle is where the man is more likely. And then you have the dark gray area where both will equally take up the task. And then the lighter gray area where neither. So let's go to the first line, shall we? Let's just look at this unequal bullshit here. This unequal bullshit. You see where it says make decisions about furniture and decorations. Okay, I give it to us. Women, we like to decorate. That's actually, I find that to be a very relaxing task. Men don't have too much of a good decorative eye. To me, they're very tacky. And a lot of times, I rarely find men that know how to decorate a home where it looks nice and comfy. So 62% of women, as you can see over here, the green line, and a very small percentage of men make decisions about furniture and decorations. And less than half, 33% of these decisions are made by both. So then let's go down to laundry. Well, laundry, I hate doing laundry. Let's just be honest. That is my least favorite chore in the house. Well, no, not really. I think cleaning the bathroom would be, I would say, my least favorite chore in the house. But laundry, 58% of women, 58% of us, this is what we're allocated to do. Whereas only 13% of men do laundry, and 28%, both the male and female, 28% do it together. But for the most part, this is something that's left to the women. Cleaning the house. We all know that these lazy men do not want to clean the house at all. You don't want to clean the bathroom. You don't want to wash the dishes, even though there's a dishwasher in every household now. You don't want to do that. So 51% of women are cleaning the house, where only 9% of men clean the house, and only 37%, both men and women, clean the house equally. So still you see it's quite lopsided. Quite lopsided. Half of women are doing majority of everything in every household. Prepare meals. Once again, 51% of women prepare meals in the household. Big surprise, right? Big surprise. Whereas 17% of men prepare meals in the household, and only 32%, both men and women, do it together. But primarily, this is something that women are expected to do. Care for children on daily basis. 50% women again. It's us again, ladies. Us again. Caring for the children. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're down to the fifth thing on the list, and it's still 50% women doing everything. 7% of men do this on a daily basis by themselves, and 42%, that's a larger number, of both men and women doing it together. So you got 50% of women that do it by themselves, and then you got 42% of women that do it together with their husband or partner. So there's a little bit more, participation on the caring for children on a daily basis side, but still more women are doing it solo dolo. Grocery shopping. 45% of women are expected to do the grocery shopping, whereas only 18%. 18% of men do the grocery shopping, and only 37% of men participate in this activity with their wives. Washing dishes. 42% of women. Us again. That's us again, ladies. 19% of men do it. 36% participate in this activity with their wives. Pay the bills. Okay, now this is where the percentage drops. 37% of women are paying the bills solo dolo. And this is really a shock. 34% of men are paying the bills solo dolo in this day and age. So that means that there are more women going half or paying the bills by themselves. So we have 29% of men splitting the bills with the women. So we still have more women paying bills solo dolo than men. I was really, really shocked, but it's only by a few percentage points. I was really shocked to see this. All right, so plan family activities. Okay, this seems to be a couple sport right here. But still more women tend to plan family activities than men. 37% of women do this solo dolo. 10% of men do this solo dolo. And 52% of both the man and women share in planning the family activities. So when the woman isn't planning it, she's usually planning it with her husband, which is a good thing. And then a very small segment of men are just uninvolved at all. Okay. Now, this right here was really shocking. Okay, make decisions about savings and investments. So it seems that men are leading in this area as far as financial decisions. 18%, just 18% of us women make decisions about savings or investments. So maybe, ladies, maybe men might have an actual point when they say that we don't handle money and finances correctly, because only 18% of us are actually making the decisions about savings and investments, whereas 31% of men are making these savings and investments decisions. And 50% of it is done by both the man and the woman in the household. So, when the savings and the investment decisions are being made, usually we make them together, but most of the time, if it's a solo dolo thing, men are doing it. Okay, keep the car in good condition. Now, this is where us ladies fall off. This is where we say, hell no, we're not doing nothing. We're not doing nada. Only 12% of women keep our cars in good condition, whereas 69%, that's a high percentage men, they keep the car in good condition, and only 18% of us share in keeping the car in good condition with our husbands and spouses. So, ladies, we got to start checking that oil, kicking them tires, looking at those gauges. Yard work. This is another area where women say, hell no, we're not going. We're not raking no leaves. We're not shoveling no snow. We're not cleaning no gutters. We're not doing it. Only 10% of women do this solo dolo, whereas 59% of men take care of the yard work around the house, and 20% is a team sport, and 11% neither the man or the women do it at all. So these are the figures. These are the figures. So now, I'm going to go back down into the article. It says, in addition to laundry, cleaning, cooking, women are the primary decision makers when it comes to home decor. Although there is more equity in some of the other tasks, women are also much more likely than their husbands to care for the children on a daily basis, shop for groceries, and wash dishes. So if you look at this chart is more dark green than it is light green across the board, because men are lazy. Let's just go ahead and just let me stop sharing my screen. The elephant in the room is men are lazy. Y'all just lazy. Y'all some lazy SOBs, okay? It don't make no sense how women are expected to do the grunt of the work. Talk about your mules. Talk about your mules. I believe that this is the reason why married women are not outliving single women. If you're a single woman and you don't have any children, single childless women, it's the two things. You don't have a care in the world. You're happy-go-lucky. All you got is yourself to worry about. You're just cleaning up behind yourself. Nobody's making a mess you got to run up behind and clean up behind. That's why single childless women live longer and they're happier. And so the single childless women, what they'll do is when they get an itch to be around a baby, they'll go volunteer to babysit somebody else's. And then when we get tired, we give it back. Here's your munchkin. You can have him back. I think it's a good thing. I really do. What's up, Miss Jim Slay? Now, Just Piss says, God created Eve and companionship for a reason. Okay, y'all kill me with this Bible stuff. I believe it was Commendable K. He and I talk a lot about this behind the scenes. And he talks about his theory that Adam and Eve were children in the Garden of Eden. And I can kind of see that theory. So, you got Eve. She's a kid. She's a child. She's playing in the Garden of Eden. Happy-go-lucky. No kids. Adam hadn't knocked that thing off yet. And then they stumble upon the forbidden fruit. And the forbidden fruit may very well have been them becoming sexually experimental because they're finding themselves. And so now they've bitten of the forbidden fruit. And God comes down and says, let me keep it real. Since you guys are over here experimenting and you done discovered your naked body parts, you discovered that you're naked, let me give you these twigs. Eve, you're pregnant. You're pregnant, Eve, and you will have these babies in pain. See, it wasn't God cursing her. I think God was just keeping it real and telling her, yeah, it's going to hurt. When you have these kids, it's going to hurt. So it's been a curse ever since, right? It's been a curse ever since. Okay, L. Nixon says, why are the single women on YouTube so angry? Well, the single women on YouTube are angry is because we've been indoctrinated into the system where we believe that our happiness is connected to a man. And there are more and more women who are slowly waking up to the fact that they can indeed be happy without having a man. And there are women who have actually been forced to pretty much go into that theory because there are women who have been single longer. And then when you do get into a relationship, it seems as if your vibe just falls when you get into a committed relationship with a guy, because now you got all these other factors. Okay, is he going to cheat on you? So as a woman, especially a black woman, you worry about stuff like that. These men will worry you to death and run your blood pressure up with that. Then you worry about, is he going to marry you? And then if you find yourself with child because you were being irresponsible, you worry about raising a child alone, whether or not he's going to be there with you for the long run with the baby. So women are under a lot of stress. Lots of stress. And then when we find ourselves in a position of having to take on the responsibility alone, or even if the guy is there in some capacity, we're doing it mostly by ourselves, even when the guy is there. Even when the man is there, I submit to you right now, the woman is still alone in doing majority of the household tasks and rearing of the children. Koja Malik says if they want to use the Bible, they should use the entire Bible. I'm sorry, that was the wrong one. Yes, if they want to use the Bible, use the entire Bible. I agree. People like to split that Bible up in half, but they don't tell the whole tale, do they? They don't tell the other half of what the man's responsibility is supposed to be. The Bro Speak podcast says, I don't think it is laziness. We have been taught that women are to do that work. We handle the outside work. I even got men saying that they just want to give women the paycheck and that is it. But see, that's all well and good. Okay, you want to give the woman the paycheck. But here's the thing. We still got to do all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the laundry. We still got to do the daily. And this is the key word. Women are still expected to do majority, if not all, of the daily tasks in the relationship, whether married or just living with a man. She's expected to do this. And if she doesn't, well, if you don't do your daily tasks, your daily chores, ladies, you're not a good woman, are you? And there's always that threat hanging over your head that what you won't do, another woman will. So if you don't get up and crack that whip and go to work for the man and do a good job at your daily job of going to work, and then also crack that whip and come home and do a good job of your daily job of being a girlfriend or wife, well, you may end up dying alone. The threat of The Kevin Samuels curse. The Kevin Samuels curse will come upon you if you're not a good woman and you do these things. L. Nixon says when women are single for too long, they have a hard time accepting help. If you meet a great guy and come into it with all that worry, you're not ready for a relationship. To be honest with you, I mean, I've been alone for, quite a bit. I don't have a problem accepting help from men. But you know what? Let me not lie. I was getting ready to lie for a second. Let me stop. I am pretty independent. Let me stop. Let me stop. Because the guy that I'm with now, it took a long time for me to be able to accept monetary gifts from him or anything. So yeah, you're right. You're right. L. Nixon, you're right. I have to let me retract that. You're right. But is it a bad thing for women to want to have an independent mindset? Is that such a bad thing for a person to have an independent mindset? I don't think it is. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Let's see what you guys are talking about here. L. Nixon also says, never been my case and was a single father. All the guys I know who's been a single father and had to do it all didn't complain. And a lot of single women don't really complain either. Let's just be honest. I mean, single women have been doing it on their own. A lot of single mothers actually have stated, hey, if he doesn't want to be there, to hell with him. And they just wash their hands and they do it on their own. There's a lot of single mothers that don't even go after child support because they say, hey, if he doesn't want to take care of the kid, hey, I'll do it myself. So there's a lot of non-complaining single women out here too. But if you do complain as a single father or as a single mother that the other person responsible for helping you create that life is not doing what they're supposed to do, you're not wrong. You're not wrong for complaining. Diamonds and Pearls says some men never offer help or assistance, and when some of them do, it comes with a price of being controlled. Many of us would like to be able to rely on men. Oftentimes, it's not safe. Exactly. That control aspect is always there. Ladies, when you put yourself in a position with men where he's able to control you financially and mentally, that's very dangerous. Because now you're in a situation where you're making decisions based on the fact that this person controls whether or not you have a roof over your head, whether or not you have a few dollars in your pocket, because you're completely dependent on this person. This person has an emotional hold on you because maybe you never felt good about yourself and you never poured anything into yourself prior to getting into a relationship with somebody. So you're looking for this validation through him. All of this is very dangerous. It's a great point, Diamonds and Pearls. Let me see. Let me go back to my private chat here because I had some banners that I wanted to go into. But first off, what is vetting? Hold on a second, guys. I might have to cut my stream short here. Okay, no. All right, well, vetting is something that we talk about all the time on the online spectrum. Everybody talks about vet, or women choosing better. But what exactly is choosing better? What is vetting? See, a lot of people give vetting a bad rap. What's up in Premature? Vetting gets a bad rap because now we have women saying that you can't possibly vet because we don't have the elusive crystal ball to know whether or not a person is a good person to become a potential mate with. And, vetting does not mean, I want to go ahead and debunk that right here, because vetting does not mean that you have a crystal ball at all. That is not what vetting is. Instead, vetting is actually your likes, your dislikes. Vetting is actually your deal breakers versus things that you're able to put up with. That is what the whole vetting process is. Vetting does not guarantee that you will not get your heart broken, that you will not get your feelings hurt, that you will not be playing the fool. Vetting doesn't guarantee any of that. All vetting is that you have what we call a set of standards. That's what that means. And you have preset these standards, and you know exactly what it is that you're looking for. So in order to vet, let me ask you something. Can a person truly be a good vetter if they don't know what they themselves like? Do you think that a person can truly be a good judge of what they like and what they don't like if they have not poured any time into themselves first? Let's go first things first. Because see, the first vetting that should go on is with yourself. And a lot of people don't take the time to do that. That's the reason why I'm so against this young 18-year-old child. Well, she's not a child, this young lady marrying a 61-year-old predator. Do you think that if she had had time with herself to get to know who she is as an adult first, that she would ever make a decision like this? I don't think so. The same way when these guys rush these young girls, and I will say young girls because I believe Deja was 16 when she gave birth to her first child. When these older men rush young girls into making decisions like sex, these young girls don't even have a sense of value for themselves enough to use birth control. They don't even have that developed yet. So the whole vetting process starts with you and getting to know yourself, your likes, your dislikes, and valuing yourself as an individual. Because you can't make any sound decisions if you don't first value yourself as an individual. That's number one. And you can't make any sound decisions if you don't even know what your favorite color is. My favorite color is yellow. I found this out about myself probably when I was like in my mid-20s. There's a lot of things I didn't find out about myself until much later in life, but I had to take time with myself in order to get to know who Faith is. I find out that I cannot possibly sleep with a guy that snores. It gets on my nerves. It's a really bad pet peeve of mine. But see, Faith had to find that out. That's a part of me that, there's certain things that guys do that irk the hell out of me. That irks the hell out of me. I know exactly what my deal breakers are. I don't like guys with roving eyes. Faith does not like public humiliation. So if we're going to have an argument, the type of guy that I deal with has to be the type of guy that can wait until we're alone to hash out our differences, because I don't like public spectacles. That's a deal breaker for me. If you embarrass me in public, if you're prone to do this, Faith can't be with you. But I had to figure these things out about myself. I had to, date and be around different guys to find out what my personality is like. I don't like guys that are super exhibitionists because, once again, the public humiliation factor. So the guy that Faith is with, he can't be this guy that wants to be like all eyes on me all the time in the limelight, because I am an introvert and I can't stand being around too many people all the time. But I know this about myself because I took time to get to know me. But if you're a person that just jumps into a relationship and you don't take the time to get to know yourself, you just boom, you go from being on your parents' porch to now you're on your husband's bed. You're 18, you don't know nothing about yourself. And now what's going to happen is you're having to find these things out about yourself while you've made a lifetime commitment to somebody. You're having to find these things out about yourself after you've already made permanent lifestyle choices like having children. Some women don't find out that they don't want to have children until much, much later in life. Maybe they babysat somebody's kids for an extended period of time, or they were in a relationship with a guy that already had children and they had to step in and play that stepmama role, and they find out they don't like it. But these are things that you're not going to ever know about yourself until you explore yourself first. So vetting starts with yourself first. Becoming self-actualized and being a full functioning thinking adult that knows yourself. And you may become self-actualized early in life. You may know certain things about yourself early in life, but paying attention to your own likes and dislikes will definitely go a long way with helping you choose a lifelong partner. And see, this is something that's going to make your marriages last, because you're choosing somebody that you can stand to be with for an endured period of time. And see, this is what a lot of people make their mistakes. Not knowing themselves and then jumping into these marriages and then finding out on the fly that this is something that they just can't tolerate or deal with. Maybe you're the type of woman, you're a you get off on communication. Like me, I'm a sapiosexual. I love, somebody that can stimulate my mind. But I cannot stand being with a man that won't communicate and doesn't like to talk intellectually. If the guy is with me and all he wants to talk about is some hip hop stuff, some music, and little penny ante stuff like that, or gossiping all the time, that's not my forte. That would drive me crazy on a daily basis. But I know this about myself. I know this about myself because I took the time to do my homework about me. And same thing for the men. I hear men all the time talking about they can't stand a nagging woman. But how did you know you can't stand a nagging woman? You had to date. You had to get out there and you had to flex those relationship muscles. That's what dating is. You're basically role playing, you're practicing for the real thing. When you're dating, you're practicing for the real thing one day. And you're dating different groups and different personalities of women and men so that you can get to know what it is that you like and what you don't like. And there is nothing better than breaking up with somebody amicably, because you all have personality differences and being truthful and upfront with each other about that. There's no shame in that at all. I wish more people would do it. But instead, we got people breaking up because people are lying. People are afraid to be alone. And so they lie to the other person. People are afraid of losing sexual access. So they lie to the other person. And that is where the shame comes in. The shame comes in the deception. You all are out here lying for superficial reasons, and you're not out here utilizing the dating process and the vetting process for what it is meant to be used for. You're not dating with the purpose of, it's not just the purpose of getting to know the other person, but a lot of people don't think about the purpose of getting to know yourself. You're also getting to know you. And when you come and you get an epiphany about yourself, that epiphany should be written down somewhere. Hey, I just found out about myself. I found out that I don't like to be with women that talk too much. I'm not a huge conversationalist. So any woman that I get with, she got to be just like me, not a huge conversationalist. You have to find out about what your turnoffs and turn-ons are and whether or not you can deal with certain things, because you're not going to find a perfect person under the sun either. So you have to figure out which imperfections you can deal with and which ones you just absolutely, it's like chalk on a board. It just irks your last nerve. You got to find these things out about yourself. So vetting is also you getting to know what your likes and dislikes are, as well as getting to know this other person and what their regular habits are. Can you put up with their idiosyncrasies? You got idiosyncrasies and they got idiosyncrasies too. And these habits that you all have, these habits, this is what will make or break a solid relationship. Your idiosyncrasies, your regular habits, your day-to-day habits. If you can't put up with each other's idiosyncrasies, then you shouldn't be together. L. Nixon says, if you come into it already waiting to be let down, you are not ready. No capable man wants to be second guessed or supervised. That's for a man child. If you can't trust me as an adult, it's a wrap. Exactly. Well, that right there is your, how can you say, that's your pet peeve. That's your deal breaker, so to speak. And that works for you. So now let's look at the specific qualifications. Let's look at specific, oh, actually, I'm sorry. Basic qualifications. My bad. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's look at the basic qualifications that everyone should definitely be looking for when it comes to vetting. Basic qualifications. Because, see, the basic qualifications is simply a blueprint. It's simply a blueprint. So, guys, come on, help me out here. What are some basic qualifications that every man and woman should be looking for in the vetting process? Because we're talking about vetting now. What are some of the basic qualifications? And if you guys put it down in the chat, I will read it up here. But for me, a basic qualification is that he should have a job. Definitely should be working. Now, having a job may be something different for different age groups. So if you're 18 to, I would say, 25, him having a job, if you're a woman, okay, when everybody starts off, they're going to start off at the bottom. So him having a job as a basic qualification is going to be him basically having a basic job that's entry level. Entry level. He's working. That's one basic qualification. He's working. If he ain't working and he's just sitting at home with no type of get up and go, no oomph about himself, that's a definite no for me. He's not even meeting a basic qualification. Now, by the time he's over the age of 25, I would expect that not only is he working, but he is in a career that is going to earn him a certain amount of money. He should be making anywhere between 50 to 60,000 by mid-20s. That's a basic qualification for that age group, 25 to 35. He needs to be in a career, on a career path. That's just a basic qualification for myself. Now, 35 to 45, he needs to be established. That's a basic qualification. When the guy is 35 to 45, I'm looking for him to be established financially and in a career. AP from the Bronx says honesty. She wants a guy that can be honest. Diamond and Pearl says effective communications. This is a basic qualification for Diamond and Pearl. Marie Baker, this is another basic qualification that I have. No criminal record. And if you do have a criminal record, it has to be at least 10 years old for me. Anything less than 10 years old, I got a question. I'm just like these people that, you go and get the job with. If the job has a qualification for your criminal record to be so old, why don't you have a qualification that if a person has a criminal record and you may be open to dating, that it be old? And it can't not be anything having to do with violence, especially against women and children, or sexual assault. That's a deal breaker for me. Violence and sexual assault is a no-no. Murder, definitely. See, people, you all are not doing your background checks on these people. And then how many instances of the same thing this person was arrested for? Because we have, some gray areas where, a person might have been railroaded or it might have been an isolated incident. But you got murder, you got theft, and the person is stealing all the time. That's another thing. Don't want to be with a person that's stealing all the time. They may steal your stuff. So definitely look into that criminal background. That's a basic qualification, people. Number one, they need to have a job. They need to be on a purpose. Number two, no criminal record. Basic. You have to know your basic qualifications first. What is the basic blueprint? Diamond and Pearl said the same thing. He has to have a career. We covered that already. Bro Speak says his basic qualification for a woman is that she's not dependent. Not dependent. And that should be a basic qualification for both men and women. You don't want somebody who shows that they are dependent on anyone. i.e., he or she still lives at home with the parents. And if they're younger, I can understand. 18 to 25, I can understand. But beyond that, if you're 25 and older and still at home with the parents, you're showing some kind of dependency there. I'm kind of worried about you. 18 to 25 still at home with the parents, I don't look at that as a factor because that's a different age grouping. But if you're over 25, you're still at home with the parent, you're showing dependency signs. You're showing signs of being a parasite at this point. What else we got here? What's up, Joe W? AP from the Bronx says, but Faith, if the person isn't honest, they will lie about having a job and they will lie about having a criminal record. That is the reason why you do a background check. You do a background check on the person. And you have to, I'm sorry, people, but you got to be super snoopy in the beginning of a relationship. Offer to meet them at their job one day. Offer to meet them at their job. See if they're at the work site. You got to be super snoopy. Just in the beginning, just to verify, if they're meeting the basic qualifications. Yeah, be super snoopy. Diamond and Pearl says financially established with no criminal record, nonviolence, and no sexual assault. And I want to know how he defines manhood. And Kermature says, agreed, a clean background is a must. Another basic qualification that I have. Credit is king. Okay? For me, credit is king. Let me get my phone together here. So, if this guy is not conscious about good credit, so 18 to 25, I would say that you have to be at least wanting to learn about good credit, because between that age group, you don't really have established credit. So you should have, I should see people in that age group very concerned about building good credit and establishing good credit and learning about how to maintain it. 25 and up, well, I want to see established good credit by that age. So that's the third thing for me. The first thing was he has to have a purpose. He has to have a job or a career. He needs to be established in a job or career and established financially. Number 2, no criminal record. And number 3, he has to be credit conscious. He has to be established with good credit, especially by my age. That's what I look for. Those are the 3 basics. Now, here's another basic. Grooming. Good grooming and hygiene. That's a basic. I know it should go without saying, but it's a basic. So if you women are out here and you're getting with these guys that got the dirty dreads, you're getting with these guys with the dirty dreads. He's walking around here with his pants hanging off his behind, and you can see his oftentimes dirty underwear too. Why is that attractive? Same thing for us women. Men, you're getting with these women that go to the store with their dirty house shoes, their dirty slippers, and the bonnet on their head. They're out early in the morning with dirty house shoes, pajamas, and a bonnet on their head. They ain't washed their ass before they left the house. But you still got with them. Basic grooming and hygiene is important. And this person, the first thing that I'm looking for is their integrity with the grooming and hygiene. Do you have any type of integrity about yourself? Do you have any pride in how you look before you leave the house? If you're with a person that doesn't have any pride about how they look before they leave the house, they don't care if they just rolled out the bed and just threw on the same dirty t-shirt and pants that they had on yesterday. Don't wash their face. Don't brush, comb the hair. They put a hat. Men are very notorious for these baseball caps, or a bonnet for the women. You have no pride about yourself when it comes to basic grooming and hygiene. That's a basic qualification. This is basic stuff here we're talking about. And if she has natural hair, does it look healthy? Like she keeps it up? Like she actually endeavors to style it? These are things that you should be looking for. Does he look like he endeavors to keep his hair cut? Or does he look like he endeavors to keep those dreads clean and groomed? Does this person smell? Does their breath stink? Basic hygiene, basic grooming, that is a qualification. Do they care that their clothes match? Do they know about color theory when they're dressing themselves? Do they understand what clothes are appropriate or not appropriate? So there's a lot to be said for basic hygiene and grooming. This is a basic qualification. I know that it should go without saying, but I'm just telling you what my basic qualification is. And this is something that should be on the list for everyone. This is a basic qualification that should be on the list for everyone. So first we got get a job, be established by the time you're 25 in a career or financially. Credit is king, good credit. Don't have a horrible criminal background, and basic hygiene and grooming. That's 4 basic qualifications that just in the door the person has to meet for you. Those are the basics. Those are the 4 basic things that I look at when I'm vetting. If this person is constantly having to borrow $20 until next week, or this person is constantly talking about he's behind on his rent, or she's behind on her rent, or they need help paying their basic bills, that's a red flag that these people are not financially established and they don't know how to handle themselves just with regular things financially. And that's for both men and women to look at. Those are basic qualifications you should be vetting at the very beginning. Another basic qualification Does this person have anybody in their lives? Because see, first, when you first start dating somebody, you need to establish once and for all, is this person free? And there are a lot of ways you can tell if the person is lying to you about being free to be with you. And see, even though a man may be single, not married, he may not be free to be with you. Same thing for a woman. It's called unfinished business. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I talk about unfinished business? That is when the person has not tied up loose ends, or they currently have someone in their lives that feels as if they're still in a relationship with the person because the person lied to them or they're lying to both of you. So there's that unfinished business factor. And so the person is not free to be with you. So you want to make sure as a basic qualification that the person is free to begin with. All of this, I didn't know he was married, I didn't know he or she had a relationship. That is what the vetting is for. Another part of vetting is to put this in your basic qualification that the person is free to be with you, that they have no unfinished business, no loose ends with anyone, and they're not connected to nobody. Because if he's not free to focus his attention on you, then that Houston, we have a problem. This should be a basic qualification. No more man sharing. If he's still got loose ends, he's married, vote with your feet, ladies and gentlemen. Vote with your feet and get the hell out of there. Because unfinished business is unfinished business. And it's bad business to try to start a relationship off with. And that person cannot be trusted because they did not divulge the information up front. What's up, Joe W? Joe W says also, even if the person is free, you also have to make sure they are not emotionally unavailable. Thank you. Because you can have someone in your life and still feel lonely. Exactly. Maybe this person is self-absorbed. They're a narcissist. They're not able to pour anything into you, or they're a workaholic. I was in a relationship with a guy that actually that he didn't have anybody. He was free to be with me, but he was a workaholic. So that also made him emotionally unavailable to me because he was obsessed with his grind. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. You know, I love a man that's on his grind, but I also love a man that understands that he also has to set aside that time for his special woman or his special lady or his wife, that the person in his life that he wants to share his time with. So that is also very good observation, Joe W. Very true. So now we've gone over some basic qualifications. We've gone over basic qualifications. Now let's get into specific qualifications. And specific qualifications are the qualifications that are tailored toward yourself and things that you know about you. These are your specific, you have to know what your specific qualifications are. Now, I can't tell you what those qualifications are because these qualifications are once again tailored towards things that you like and things that you don't like. So a specific qualification might be that you like guys that are tall, as far as like looks are concerned. That might be a specific qualification. And the reason why I say that this is an area that each individual has to hammer out for themselves. So you got your basic qualifications, which is qualifications everyone should be looking at. And then you have specific qualifications. Now, for me, I cannot be with a man. This is a no-no for me that I am not attracted to. Attraction is very important to faith. So I have a specific qualification that I have to be attracted to the man. It's a no-go if I'm not physically attracted to you. That is a specific qualification for me. Now, other women may not make this a specific qualification because they don't care about attraction. I know that a lot of men are visual. They do care about attraction. So attraction is a specific qualification, and no woman can tell another woman what to be attracted to or what not to be attracted to. And no man can tell another man what he can be attracted to or what he cannot be attracted to. Some men are attracted to very slim, slender women. Other men are attracted to BBWs. Some women are attracted to men that have lots of muscles. I'm not. I'm attracted to more a man that has more of a slim, athletic build. That's my attraction. So everybody's specific qualification when it comes to attraction is not going to be the same. So that is the reason why when a lot of dating coaches get to telling people what they should be looking for and what they shouldn't be looking for, like the people of Kevin Samuels' ilk or Jason Black, they'll tell men what makes their penis rise. Oh, don't get with her. She's fat. And then you see a perfectly beautiful plus size woman and they're trying to degrade this man for liking her. You can't tell other people what to be attraction to. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and attraction is a specific qualification. So you have to, that goes into, once again, knowing thyself. If you know what you are specifically attracted to, you have your preference, so to speak. There's nothing wrong with adding that to your specific qualification. And you have to ask yourself if this specific qualification falls into a deal breaker category. Because if that specific qualification doesn't fall into a deal breaker category, then boom. The basic qualifications are all deal breakers. Let me just go ahead and make that separation and distinction. You have your basic qualification and you have your specific qualifications. All of your basic qualifications should be deal breakers. If they don't meet the minimum, it's a deal breaker. But specific qualifications are different. You get more leeway with those. There are specific qualifications that you would put in the category of deal breaker, and there are specific qualifications that you can put in the category of you're willing to compromise. And it's up to you to separate those categories. If you can successfully do these things, you will have a better chance of meeting your match. You will have a better chance of meeting your match. So if you gravitate to women who are needy all the time, some men don't mind a needy woman. Actually, that might be a specific qualification for you, that your woman has to need you financially. If that is your specific qualification and it's a deal breaker if she's independent, then you need not go after the independent woman. Go after the woman that is more needy. There's somebody for everybody out here. But the problem is, people are not getting to know themselves and they're not setting boundaries with their specific qualifications that are deal breakers and their specific qualifications that they're willing to compromise on. So, specific qualifications has two categories. One category, deal breaker, meaning that that's a specific qualification that you can't live without. And the other section of that specific qualification is something that you are willing to compromise on. Now, for me, a specific qualification that would be a deal breaker, and this is just me personally, like I said, I don't like guys that are super boisterous and super flamboyant. They like being in the limelight. That is a specific qualification that my guy be more conservative and reserved. And that's a deal breaker for me. For me, that falls into a deal breaker category. And I'm not wrong for that. That's me knowing myself and knowing what I can deal with. That's the reason why I say when you guys are out here dating, the first vetting should be vetting yourself. Dating is a tool for you to do this. And this is how you date with a purpose. You date with the purpose of not only vetting the other person, but you date with the purpose of also getting to know your likes and dislikes. So let me see what else I had here. What others? All right. The last thing. What works for me may not work for everybody. So what works for me may not work for you. You'll get a lot of dating coaches giving dating and coaching advice out here. And what I've noticed is where they go wrong is they will actually give people advice that has worked for them. But if another person goes to do that exact same thing, it does not work for the other person. And so then this is where you get people going back to these dating coaches and wanting to sue them and get their money back because what works for them did not work for the people that they were coaching. So say, for instance, I'm an average looking woman. I'm very average. But let's see, someone like, say, what's a super gorgeous movie star in my age bracket? I would say super gorgeous would be Halle Berry or what's the lady that played Tina Turner? Angela Bassett. Now they fall into the super gorgeous category from my age bracket. I'm comparing myself to women in my age bracket. So now what works for Angela Bassett probably ain't gonna work for Faith because we two different people. Okay? What works for Morris Chestnut probably isn't going to work for Doug. Okay? They're two different people. But I have particular attributes that does work for me. I have a certain charm about myself where certain things that work for Faith is only going to work for Faith. Whereas Angela Bassett has a certain charm and charisma and good looks about herself where she's going to be able to get away with more than what Faith get away with. And so Angela Bassett's attraction level may be up here and my attraction level may be up here. And then this is where we are. So stuff that she can get away with, Faith can't get away with. Stuff that Morris Chestnut can get away with, L. Nixon can't get away with. Okay? So there's always going to be that aspect of you knowing what your level is and what works for you. What works for this other person is not going to necessarily work for you. So you have to find out what your charm is. I know what my charm is. I'm not going to share that with y'all though, because then I'll be giving away my secrets. But Faith has a charm when it comes to men. And so when you find out what your charm, what your specific magic potion is, you play that up. L. Nixon may be funny. If you know you're funny and you know women like this, play up on that because that's something that's going to work for you. If Mother Earth knows that she has a banging body, well, she's going to play up on the banging body because that works for her. If AP from the Bronx knows that she's warm and compassionate, and her that aura and that inner spirit speaks to a lot of men, then you play up on that. Everybody has a certain amount of authenticity faith. that's what AP from the Bronx says. Everybody has their own brand of authenticity. See, if you try to fake it and go on what a dating coach tells you work for them, it may not work for you, and you'll be mad that you spent the money. You'll be mad. But instead, what these dating coaches, if they're a good dating coach, they will have a formula to find out what your actual desired, how can I say, attributes are. They will have a questionnaire to ask you, okay, well, what are your desired attributes? They will be able to observe you, and they would interview other people who have observed you, and they will find out what your desirable attributes are. And see, you don't even have to pay anybody to do this. The guy that I'm with, his desirable attribute is that he is highly intelligent and he has a very, very calm, witty aspect about himself. He's very good with words. He's poetic even. And that is a desired aspect of him. And he played up on it to get me. So, everybody has something about themselves that makes them undesirable. I mean, not undesirable, makes them desirable. Everybody has something about themselves that makes them more desirable. I'm not going to say it makes you irresistible, but it makes you more desirable. You play up on your positive aspects. Do the things that work for you. Joe W. says dating coaches are a waste of time. The best thing you could do is shoot your shot, be your true self, and see how it goes from there. Exactly. But not just that. I mean, I will say that there has to be a strategy. And what I'm doing is I'm giving you the strategy for free. This is free. Everything that I have stated in this video is strategy. And if you know how to separate them and date with the purpose that you're supposed to date with, you will match with people that are more, how can I say, you're more compatible with. The compatibility factor will be on point because you know yourself and you know what you're looking for. More importantly, you know what you're looking for. I hate dating people that do not know what they want. That is the single most biggest pet peeve of mine. And that falls into a specific qualification that I have. If I'm dating a man, I have to get a feeling that he knows what he wants and what he's looking for. There's no bigger turnoff than meeting someone and you ask them what they are looking for in a woman and they're grappling for an answer. That is because you're with a person who is not yet self-actualized, and that is very dangerous. Because if this person can't answer that question for you and sound and look and act as if he knows for sure that this is what he wants. If you're not with someone that's self-actualized and knows what they want, they are going to come off as flaky. These are these flaky individuals. These are the individuals that break hearts. These are the individuals that lie. These are the individuals that can't be trusted with your heart. You don't trust your heart with people like this. If this person does not know themselves and they are not sure of what they want, they are going to confuse they're not only confusing themselves, but they're going to confuse you too. Because you'll be in a relationship and you'll be like, well, I thought you wanted blah, blah, blah. And then he has an epiphany moment in the relationship while he's with you. Now, I'll give people 18 to 25 a leeway with these epiphany moments because they're just learning themselves. But if you're 25 and older and still have not become self-actualized, shame on you. That means that you were focused on all the wrong things and you were not dating with a purpose. And dating does not have to just be for the purpose of finding marriage or getting in a relationship. You can date with the purpose of finding yourself and what you like and don't like in other people. That is also the purpose of dating too. But I don't come on here. I didn't want to spend my entire morning talking at you guys or, boring you with my platitudes. But this live stream is about an hour and 30 some odd minutes long. And this is definitely a need to know stream. So if you have anybody that needs to hear these things, you definitely want to like the stream and share the stream to your social medias, your Facebooks, your TikToks, your Instagrams, your YouTube. Share, share, share. Because there's a lot of people that don't know these basic things. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say I'm out. It was great talking to you guys. Thank you to everybody that stopped in. Until next time, peace. I'm out.